Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I have 5 video series videos I do for the while. I'll go over their trap food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. It's perfect weather for soup, so it feels appropriate to do this today. But anyway, we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there my trout food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside the truck. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, why wear super cool shirts? I always like to highlight super cool shirt. Super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my Tim Skold shirt. Look at him. He's a guy. He plays guitar and sings. If you're not familiar with Mr. Tim Skold, I wouldn't be entirely surprised. The guy has been around at least since the 90s. He's worked on all kinds of musical projects with Marilyn Manson. He's done some stuff related to Rob Zombie. He's also in a group called Cyclone 9. And he does his own solo stuff. I was fortunate enough earlier this year, I got to see him perform live. I'm actually going to see him perform again in just a few days at the time I'm doing this with his other musical project called Not My God. I'm super excited. But I really enjoy his stuff. It's kind of a mix as to where is to like the genre and stuff, because it kind of depends a little bit album to album. There's rock elements, metal elements, industrial elements. You know, it's all up my alley. So, but I really enjoy his stuff. I actually have a few videos from the last performance that I went to see him at. They're on this channel, and I will definitely have videos of his performance with Not My God. So look out for those, I guess. And probably by the time that I'm releasing this, they should already be up. But anyway, what am I trying to review for you folks? What are we doing here today? Why did I bring up the soup thing? Well, folks, it's because we're doing, boom, it's soup from Potbelly. Specifically, this is their broccoli and cheddar soup, which consists of, I don't know why I bothered to write it down, but it's very simple. It's a creamy cheese soup with tender pieces of broccoli and carrots. Yay! It cost me $4.69 for this little cup. For those of you interested in the price. Interesting fun fact about your good buddy Brandon. As a child, this was far and away my favorite soup. Like, easily my favorite soup. We used to go to Baker Square when I was a kid, back when Baker Squares were still around with any frequency. And, man, that was always my go-to soup. Always. Loved it. I was a weird kid in that I loved broccoli, like lots of kids and even some adults just don't like broccoli. I always loved it. You add that with some cheese, make it into a thing I can scoop with a spoon. That's a good time for Brandon Wenzel. But anyway, it's got a little thing on the back. You're a great spooner. See, we're all about compliments. Just like this cup of delicious goodies is a great compliment to your pick your pear Sam your salad. P.S. You have gorgeous lips. Is this getting weird? Depends on the context. Anyway, let's open it up. There we go. It's so much. I should have opened the spoon sooner. I have an open spoon. Yes! Thank God. There we go. Okay, so let's try to get a little, a nice big old piece of broccoli. Big old piece of broccoli. All right, let's try to get a thing for the thumbnail. Can we? Sure. Before I completely leak it all over myself. Well, that tasted good. Let's get into it. Mind you, I still really like broccoli and cheddar soup. It's not my favorite anymore. You know, my palate has expanded a bit. These days, either probably ramen or tom kha would be my personal favorite. Pho is somewhere up there too, but I mean, this is really good. And it very much takes me back to those days as a little kid eating a Baker Square. It's got a nice cheddar taste to it. It's got a little bit of a sharpness to it. It's nicely seasoned. It's not going overboard with it. Like, it doesn't taste overly cheesy. I have had some cheese-based soups that were a bit much on the cheesiness, but this doesn't do that. It's nice. It's very flavorful. The broccoli is very nice. It's a nice, and you watch my channel, I like contrasting flavors. And I think that's part of the reason why I like broccoli cheddar soup so much, because you have the nice creamy cheesiness of the cheddar, and then you have the sort of earthy, almost mildly-ish, bitter-ish-ness of the broccoli, and the veg and stuff like that. So it creates that contrast point that I like. But yeah, man, that's honestly perfectly good. I mean, this was going to be a hard one for him to screw up. Broccoli cheddar soup isn't exactly, masterclass level souping. And it's something that's pretty widely available. So, in that case, all they had to do was just go over there, make sure they used good ingredients, seasoned it properly, put it together the right way. And to their end, they definitely did. It's very tasty. I think, I reviewed maybe a couple of other soups. I think I did their mac and cheese and their, what the hell was it? Their chicken pot pie soup. Both of which were perfectly solid. I think this is probably my favorite out of theirs. Though I will admittedly attest that, part of that is probably, again, just sort of the nostalgia factor. But, for me personally, that's a damn fine broccoli cheddar soup. Well, that said, is it the best broccoli cheddar soup that you're ever going to have? No. I have been out to places in the past, proper restaurants that have had it available, and, they definitely elevated it, brought it to that upper tier level with little tricks and, additions and stuff. This is pretty basic, but that's okay, and honestly, it's kind of nice that it just is that. One of the things that I do like about a broccoli cheddar soup is the fact that it's kind of humble. It's not throwing a lot of bells and whistles at you. It's very simple, and there's really nowhere to hide with it. If you fuck it up, you fuck it up. If you do it right, you do it right. And in this case, they definitely did it right. It's really good, Now, all that said, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I'm going to go with yes, and yes, honestly. I think for myself personally, like I said, out of the soups and stuff that I've had from Potbelly, I would probably get this one again over the other two that I had, even though I like both of those as well. Now, if I'm taking out the bias, just my personal bias of things, that's where, if I'm recommending it to other people, I mean, is it going to go over there and alter your life? No. If you don't already like broccoli and cheddar soup, is it going to go over there and change your opinion on it? Probably not. But I think if you're like me and you grew up with it as kind of a comfort soup, it's a perfectly well put together version of it. Again, I think that really is it's a classic American style soup. Although I fuck only knows where it actually came from, originated. I could be completely talking out my ass, but it's definitely classic American style soup. And, it's hearty, it's warm, it's good, and it's simple. And that's just, for me, that's really what makes it, Again, even outside of the nostalgia, they put it together well, it tastes like it's supposed to taste. I don't have any problems with it. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Spectacular rest of the week. Monumental rest of the month. Spend this rest of your folks. You go over there and have yourselves a truly nostalgic, soup-tastic rest of your life for you. Because, I'm sure you probably have some nostalgic things. Maybe soups, maybe other stuff. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do can't do all the time. I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there with you in it. Life can be very stressful, very frustrating. It can be overwhelming. And it's important when we run into those situations in our lives. Sometimes you can't help from being overwhelmed. That's why it's called overwhelming. But it is important that we do try to go over there, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, like I said, maybe you have some sort of a nostalgic superfood or something that you're over there and you're like, this would be great. But maybe it's like one of those things that's been discontinued for 100 years and you're like, ah, man, I sure wish that they'd bring back Orbits. That was a drink that they used to have. I never had it. It's one of those things that you see it shows up on all those nostalgic food lists all the time of things that they want to come back, even though pretty much everybody admits that they were terrible. I am personally never got to try them that I can remember, but I do wish they would come back. And if they do, you better believe I'm going to review it. But maybe it's something like that, so then you have to go over there and maybe you have to shake down a few people over at the big companies and stuff. You're like, bring back the Orbits, damn it. And brr, 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 brr. And, you eventually get to a point, you shake down enough people, and finally they're over there and like, all right, we'll bring back the fucking Orbits. So bring back the Orbits, and it's a whole thing, and people are like, yay! And they try it, and you try it, and you're like, oh, these aren't very good. And that's a metaphor for life, unfortunately. But, conversely, don't go over there and bring yourself all down and dour about stuff, because at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes things don't live up to expectations, but then sometimes things exceed them. Bye.